right, guys, welcome back to Speed Kills Football. We're back with Coach Chris Towery. We had him on a previous show talking about tour RPOs, and we had such a good response from that we brought him back to talk some pass protections. And I'm gonna let Coach Towery kind of give his road to where he's been that's led him to here, because Coach Towery has had a lot of success at a lot of different schools. So I'm gonna let him talk to you about that real quick. Coach,
Thanks.
where you start and kind of tell us about how you ended up where you're at.
Well, thanks for having me back. And I've been fortunate in this profession to be around a lot of great guys and a lot of guys that I've learned some things from. So, everything that we do at Sulphur High, we've taken from somebody else. I tell our kids all the time, I didn't invent a dang thing that we do. I try to do the best with what I see that I can, and try to surround myself with great guys. And we've got some really good coaches at Sulphur High School, and those guys are working hard to build this program where it needs to be. My career has had some ups and downs. I've coached a little bit at the college level. I've been fortunate to be part of the state championship staff at Redemptorist. I've also had a head coaching job that didn't go so well, and I think the big thing with coaching and where you're going, and I've got a young coaching acquaintance of mine that's, looking to be a head coach right now. And I tell him all the time that it's all about fit. I love where I'm at. I love Sulphur High School, and I think it's a good fit for me in the way that we do things. Sometimes the way you do things don't fit in certain places. And I learned that the hard way in a previous head coaching job, that just probably wasn't the right place for me to be. And it also teaches you lessons. I mean, failure is one of the greatest lessons there is. Anytime you've had failure at something, you have to kind of look inward and find out, well, what did I do wrong? How did I mess this up? What could I have done better? Could I have managed people better? Were my X's and O's wrong for this place? Did I not manage my players the right way? Did they not respond to me the right way? Was my off season, not where it needed to be, and those kind of things. And so I think, the previous head coaching job I had in Louisiana, didn't go so well. And when I got this job, a lot of people were like, well, golly, the last head coaching job he had wasn't very good. And I think people know me well enough to know that for me, that was just a bad fit. It's not that it's a bad job. It was just a bad fit for me. There's a guy at this particular place right now that's going to do a great job there, and he's going to get them to where they need to be. And for him, it's a good fit. For me, it wasn't, the way that we do things, because, we have to adapt to our kids, but we have to get up and coach our personality every day. And if you don't get up and coach your personality, you're just not really going to do a great job of doing what you do, because you're not going to be happy every day doing it. And so my personality as a coach is, what we do offensively, what we do defensively, the things that we're doing in off season right now, which are a little bit outside the box. And we're making some great gains in the weight room right now, some big time gains that we need to be able to compete with some of these people that have really good athletes.
I've been making a lot of gains.
What's that?
I said I've been following y'all, checking out on Facebook and whatnot. Y'all making some big time gains.
Yeah, we 45 minute athletic period. We kind of pushed the pace. I stole that saying from a good buddy of mine, Doug Dotson. PTP, man. We go up in there, we push the pace in there, and if you come watch us lift, it's like organized chaos. It's organized. It looks like organized chaos, but our kids and our coaches do such a fantastic job of responding to that, and I couldn't be more proud of what they're doing. We still got a million miles to go, but we're stepping in the right direction. So just fortunate to be where I'm at, and feel really blessed.
Awesome. Coach, we've had some guys ask us, what about some O-line stuff? What about some O-line stuff? Because we've had a lot of RPO stuff. We've had run game out the gun. We have wing T. We've covered a whole lot. And we haven't really had a whole bunch of, focus on O-line. And I said, I am going to hit up Coach Towery, because we've talked a little O-line pass protection before. And so I gave Coach a call, and he said he'd be more than happy to do it. And so let's talk a little pass pro, Coach.
All right, so I'm gonna share screen here. We're gonna start off with a little PowerPoint. I'm gonna try to do a little better with this PowerPoint stuff than I did on my RPO stuff. That was the one thing a couple guys said, make the screen bigger and all that kind of stuff. So we're gonna kind of, can you see that, Coach?
Let me make sure I'm
Did I share screen there?
no, I'm probably.
Let me do it. Okay, I forgot to share screen. Okay, it's host disabled participant screen sharing. So you'll have to.
Yep, that's what I'm looking at right now.
That for me.
Stop security. All right, Coach, you should have it.
Okay. All right, there we go. Okay, can you see that, Coach?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Sulphur High School, we have on the back of our workout shirts the saying, love the process. And it's a cliche thing, but it's something we try to teach to our kids that you've got to love what you're doing every day. And we talked to them. We kind of had an off day a little bit in the weight room last week, and I talked to them about you got to win every day. And so we talk about the process, and you're winning that day. You're not winning football games right now, so that's something we talk about. Everything we do, and then of course the way you do anything is the way you do everything. So we talk to those guys about that. So we kind of put that on a lot of our stuff. So our tour 5 and 6 man sword protection. I'm going to kind of go through this PowerPoint, and I've got some film and I've got some drill film. How do we teach our 5 and 6 man protections? The biggest thing, and I'm not going to sit here and read all this, but I'll leave it up long enough for if people watch it, they can look at it. The biggest thing we're trying to do is we're always trying to identify the 5 most dangerous rushers in every front that we look at. And we do that through various ways that I'm going to go through here in a second. So we want to put our 5 offensive linemen on the 5 most dangerous rushers. And we're not static in that. A lot of people have static pass protections. They're going to slide 3 this way every time, and these 2 are going to do this or that. Everything we do is predicated on the look of the defense. Okay, and we do this because we want to avoid throwing hots. We want to avoid throwing sights. Not that that's the worst thing in the world, but if we call a route, we want to throw that route. And that's why we're doing it. So we want to try to protect the quarterback and get the ball out of his hands cleanly. The thought process behind that is, and this goes back, I learned this a long time ago. Jimbo Fisher said it at a clinic probably 16, 17 years ago. It was at LSU, and he said, if you go empty on 3rd and 7 and your quarterback gets hit in the mouth, that's on you as a play caller. That doesn't mean we don't go empty on 3rd down and 7 sometimes, but we do it within trying to know what we're going to get. And so as we've delved into this pass protection, it's allowed us to try to protect and still get into some empty concepts and some, get more guys out in route space. And that's important because if you're facing a zone defense, you need receivers out to control zones. You need to get guys out to control zones. I was talking to a guy earlier today, and he said, well, why not just go scat protection every time? And I said, well, your running back's going to get hit in the mouth. I mean, your quarterback's going to get hit in the mouth every once in a while. So we want to protect, but then if we can get him out and get those guys on the 5 most dangerous, then we are, we're going to get that guy out there, control zone, possibly get a playmaker, the ball in his hands, et cetera, et cetera. So we try to do this. And we try to keep our running backs from being pressured with 4-week blitzes. So you'll hear me talk about turning the protection here in a minute. And we use the word sort side instead of slide. Okay, we don't really talk about sliding to me. And you're going to hear me talk about our offensive linemen trying to own their space. When you slide, to me, that almost indicates you're gap protecting. We don't gap protect. We're still responsible for 3, 4, guys in a sort, but we're sorting them out by how they come. So it's kind of like a sift. People use the word sift. It's kind of that deal, sort, sift, kind of the same thing. So we use the word sort rather than slide to our kids to let them know that they're still setting defenders and not gaps on the sort side. We want our guys up front to own their space, and their sets are predicated on the alignment of the defender they're setting. So our base 5, 6 man protection, we have what we call 2, 3, and 4 man turns. Okay. And we turn that protection to the SAM or the wheel. We always talk about 3 linebacker boxes. Even if it's not a 3 linebacker box, we count 3. Okay. So where we're turning that to. We never started off at the mic. We never started off at the middle. And a lot of people have asked me why, and I'm going to get into that in a minute. If we feel there is no Sam Will threat, we can claim or ID the mic now as part of the O-line responsibility. And in our six-man protection, our running back now has the sixth most dangerous rusher. His basic thought process is he's dueling one past the ID to two past the ID to any fourth blitzer. We talk about the sky. If anything comes out of the sky late, you got it in our six-man protection. If your first two responsibilities didn't show up, okay? So that's kind of how we think about things. How do we ID the five most dangerous rushers and who does it? Okay, well, I've had years where I've left it to the quarterback to do. One of the things that I've talked about with our new O-line coach is we're going to put it on the center to start off with, and the quarterback can trump him or flip his call if he feels like something's coming. And all this happens really fast. So our center makes an ID call on every play. And we do this, he'll walk up there and he'll make there's a system we have. He does this in the run game and in the passing game because we use the same type deal in our run game because we're a series count system in our run game. Our quarterback always has the ability, and you see I capitalize always there, to change or turn the protection the other way or re-ID. Okay, so why do we give our quarterbacks that ability? We do it because our QBs understand coverages, centers don't. They understand what the safeties are doing, centers don't. So the QB also knows his route scheme, where his sights are, where his built-in hots may be. Therefore, he knows which guys to cut loose if he has to and still get the ball out. And that being said, we want to avoid throwing hot as much as possible. In a five-man protection, you're going to throw hot a little bit more. Six-man, if you ID it right, you should be able to get six on the right six people. And seven, and then we have a seven-man, and all three of these build off of each other. The rules don't change. It's just who's plugging in where. That's the beauty of it. All three protections as a base don't change anything. Obviously, if you're in a seven-man protection, now the IDing gets a little bit easier, and now you're going to start putting the O-line on the center linebacker. Whereas in a six-man protection, you're going to turn the protection to the Sam or the Will, one way or the other, because now you only got six guys. So that's the beauty of this, is it all kind of builds on top of each other. You can have a five-man, six-man, seven-man protection that has all the same base deals in it, base rules. Obviously film study and game plans, how we prepare our people, down and distance, field boundary percentage, pressure versus blitz. Okay, to us, a pressure is 5 or less, a blitz is 6 or more, and we signify them that way. Defensive alignments, once again, going back to the quarterback, safeties don't lie. Okay, safeties will give you the intention of a defense most of the time, and they will give you an intention of where pressure is coming from most of the time. So we talk about caps. Okay, so caps on overhang defenders. Where is the safety's alignment in relationship to an overhang defender? Can that overhang defender come because that safety is capping him over the top, and he can take that release and receiver and coverage, whether it be man or zone or some sort of buzz coverage coming down, he can take that guy. Okay, so we put that back on the quarterback. Implied pressure makes it a little bit tough. Guys giving you a look somewhere and then bringing it from somewhere else. You're starting to see more and more of that in every level of football. And so we actually try to teach our quarterbacks and our offensive linemen and our running backs, training their eyes to look at posture and eyes of defenders and try to get a feel. Is that guy really coming, or is he just sugaring me up in there? Where is he looking at? Is he looking at the ball, or is he looking into the backfield? If he's not looking at the ball, he's probably not blitzing. He's got to go on ball move. So those are things that we try to clue our guys into just to kind of put a stop to that game. Obviously, defenses are going to get you, and they're good at disguising stuff, and so they're going to get you sometimes. Those are things we try to teach. Go backwards here. Okay, when we install our basic system, we have basic rules. We have a basic direction that our sort side goes off the base protection call. So we have a man side and we have a sort side in our protection. All right. As a base, we are always going to ID or turn to the Sam or Will. Our base rule is turning to the Will. So that's where we start. If we were going fast, they're going to turn the protection to the Will. They're going to turn it that way. And as I get into some pictures, it'll make more sense what I'm talking about here in a second. If we don't think there's a threat from one of those, we can go back inside the box and claim the mic. Now, people are going to ask, why do you go here to here and skip this guy when you flip the protection? I'll show you why on some pictures here in a minute. It makes a whole lot of sense. In the teaching of this, we basically put our IDs into a few simple categories. Single, which means 4 down front. So single ID, if he's in the box, it's tight. If he's out of the box, it's an out. Okay. 2 spot is odd, which means now there's 2 linebackers because you only got 3 down linemen now. So we're 2 spotting that now. That means we got 2 backers that we have to be accountable for with the O-line. So that's a 2 spot, usually an odd front. And then any Bear family stuff could possibly be islands, which basically puts what it says it is. It puts your offensive line 5-on-5 on 5 down. It's 5 out, basically. So, and that's it. So when we go out and start teaching this, this is it. It has to fit into one of those thought processes. And that's how the kids learn it. So single ID, out of the box, in the box, that's a 4 down deal. 2 spot, odd. That means he's IDing 2 guys somewhere. And then bear, double sync, double eagle, whatever it is you want to call it, that becomes possibly islands. We try to film study that on the weekend. And if those outside backers aren't pressure dudes out of that look, we may go into some Ringo Lucky slide stuff. And I'll show you a couple of examples of that on here. But for the most part, if we think we're getting pressure off the edges out of a bear front or a double sync or double eagle, then we're going to 5 down that. And then the back's got the 6th most dangerous rusher if it's a 6-man protection. Okay, so how many are in the sort? All right, we pretty much keep it this simple. Is it an odd or an even front? Okay, if it's even, that usually means we have a 3-man sort. Okay, so we call the man side of our protection the play side, the sort side is the back side. On the man side, the play side guard has the number 1 D lineman. The play side tackle has the number 2. This is versus an even front, so they're 1 and 2. So if there's a 2I and a 5 on the play side, the guard's got the 2I, the tackle's got the 5. They're man on. Okay, not a whole lot of thinking right there. And then we'll have a 3-man directional call that'll tell those other 3 guys how they're getting to where he told him, where the center or the quarterback told them to go to. So, and our directional calls are pretty self-explanatory. If it's a 3-letter word, it starts with an R, it's 3 dudes sorting right. If it's a 4-letter word that starts with an R, it's 4 dudes sorting right. So they're pretty simple, and I've got a few examples of those in here. If it's an even front and the ID's in the box, they'll say tight. So it may be the 3-man slide sort call, maybe Ray. He's in the box, they'll just say Ray tight, Ray tight. Boom, us 3, got those 3. He's in the box. It's that simple. Okay. Odd, now we got 2 spot. So if it's odd, there's only 3 down linemen in an odd front. So now we call this a 2 spot situation. That means there's 2 backers somewhere that have to get ID. It could be 2 to the right, and I have pictures of this here in a minute. It could be 2 in the box. Quarterback and the center determine that off of where they think the threats are coming from. So the center will now, when it's a 2 spot, the play side guard that's normally number 1 will attach to the sort. So now you have 4-man sorts. That's how you end up with a 4-man sort on an odd front. Okay, and I'll show examples of that on film in a second. And the center, the play side guard becomes the back part of the chain. Now the center knows he's backed up on the back side if anything comes back across the face right there. He's got that guy in his chain. Okay. If one of the IDs is out of the box, we'll have a 4-man call outside. If the 2 spots in the box, there may be a dual drag, and I'll explain what that is. And all a dual drag is 2 adjacent linemen blocking the 2 most dangerous of a 3-man triangle. Okay. And what the drag part means is they're dragging their inside hand to hold space while possibly setting the something out wide. And I've got a couple of examples of that on here too. And then the third deal is bear double sync eagle. Okay, could equal islands if we feel like it's 5 down and all 5 of those guys are coming. So you've got the 0, the 2 3s, and maybe 2 outside backers coming off the edge. That's 5 down. Okay, we're alerting 5 possible rushers being aligned on the line of scrimmage, and the O-line will take them. And 6-man, the running back, will now have what he deems the next most dangerous threat. And we do a lot of training our eyes with these running backs. You look down there at the bottom, there's examples of some sort calls. Ray, 3 sort right. Lou, 3 sort left. Rake, 4 right. Vaughn, 4 left. Ringo, obviously, 5 right. Lucky, 5 left. It's really, once you get into it, it is not a hard deal. Matter of fact, our Sulphur kids handled it better than our JUCO kids did last year, which made me extremely, extremely happy. Why do we go Sam to Will? So here's the question of why, if we start with the Will on the back side of the protection and we don't think he's a threat, do we go all the way back to the Sam first? Because you've eliminated the Will, obviously. You don't think he's a threat, right? So now you want to put your line back here and give your running back that single plus what could have been a threat but isn't a threat. You got what I'm saying? You keep him from having a duel too. That's why we skip all the way back over to the other side. Instead of just pulling at one end of the box, and then when we get into the pictures and the film here in a second, I'll show you what I'm talking about. We skip it all the way back over to the other side. We don't want 2 extra to the running back side because in 6-man, he can obviously only take 1. If we eliminate one of the 3 linebackers, we're down to one for the O-line and 1 for the running back. Our first job, though, is always to alert potential blitzes. Even if they don't come, we're always alerting them. If we think they're coming, we're gonna alert them. And we're gonna put the protection there. If they don't, our linemen are taught to, redirect and do certain things to not, they're not just gonna sit on air. I can promise you that. So, we have those quick communication calls up front, and we do really a lot of work on training our quarterbacks, O-lines, and running backs' eyes to get this done, And then, we talked about the different families a minute ago. All right, how do we work these things? We do it in 7-on-7. We bring blitzes in 7-on-7, and our running backs are expected to pick them up in 7-on-7, and we ID. And that quarterback's doing all the ID in there because we don't bring our centers to 7-on-7. So that gives him a chance to make sure that he's seeing safeties how they should be, putting the guys on the right dudes. And I have film of us in 7-on-7. They're bringing pressures, and we're going picking it up. Obviously O-line, running back, quarterback, wide receiver, individual work, ton of that, just different individual drills. I've got some of the O-line stuff on here. A lot of good on good. We do a lot of our offense versus our defense and what we call PUP or pass under pressure and 3rd down, 4 to 7 deals because it gives us game speed reps that we'll never get versus scouts. So it might not be the look we're going to see that week, but we'll go out and do pass under pressure versus our defense every week, because to me, the speed is more valuable sometimes than the look, and we get the looks too, obviously team versus scouts. Then we do our blitz pickup. That's all carded looks of our next opponent. Pre-practice film install. We always walk through. On Tuesday is our first day to really delve into the blitzes. So we always walk through some of that stuff in pre-practice. The looks of our opponents, and then post-practice film, cleaning up mistakes, viewing that day's practice film. So those are the ways that we rep all this stuff. We spend a lot of time doing it because we do have an extensive drop-back passing game. So we invest a lot of time into these things. And it all starts with the guys up front and everybody being on the same page. This is a shot of our base 6-man pass protection, 60-61. Just some looks there. If you look up in the top left-hand corner, you have a 2-spot. That's what the Mike and the Will and the box are for right there. So they 2-spotted that right there in that example. We sorted 4 to the right with a rock call, and now the back is Jack to Sam right there in his protection. Okay, but that's just an example right there. The next one's a 4-man surface. Where the quarterback may have deemed the Will linebacker a threat right there. So he, ID'd the Will, or the center ID'd the Will. They raid that out right there because that's a single out. He's outside the box. So they're raying out to that guy right there. And now the running back is Mike to Sam. Same thing on the other side. We got a 3 linebacker look, Sam, Mike, Will. Okay, that in that example, the Will is not a threat in that example. So we felt like the Sam wasn't a threat. So he put the Sam, he put the O-line on the Sam. He lewd that right there. So those 3 would slide left. The running back would be Mike, technically to Will to 4 off the sky right there. The running back is always one pass, two pass. If the Sam's the ID right there, he's got Mike to Will. If the Will was the ID in the upper right-hand corner, he's got Mike to Sam. It's pretty simple. Once that's out and we make them in practice, that you'll see the running back sometimes in practice, they're pointing, early on, we make them do that. And, that example right there is a two spot. Right here is a zone pressure. So they're bringing it. This is an example of us flipping the protection because we're getting 4 to the back. We lucky it right here. We sort 5 left, put the back on the backside edge. Just an example of a possible 4-man pressure and how we would possibly handle that right there. So this is our base 6-man pass protection. All right, so some of our base pass pro drills. All right, I'm going to escape this here, and I'm going to pull huddle up, and I'm going to go through a few of these real quick. Let's see. Okay. We didn't turn the sound on this, so you're going to hear Coach in the background going here. So this is what we call set 1-2. Okay, so they're just working initial sets, so they work their posture, and then we're always talking about pushing off one foot, stepping with the other foot, keeping the base.
Coach.
Okay, so set 1-2, another example of it. Posture, boom, and they're going to push. So if they're going right, they're pushing off that left foot. They're keeping that weight centered, doing a good job of pushing there.
Coach, can you hear me?
One of the things this kid right here is going to UL Lafayette as preferred walk-on. A little bit too much noise with his upper body. We like a little quieter upper body, too much movement. This is the first time they've worked with Coach Martin. So, we kind of hit him on that yesterday. So that's set 1-2.
Coach, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, I'm not seeing your huddle screen.
You're not seeing it?
No, sir. I still have your
Okay, maybe I got to reshare. Is that what it is? Yeah, I got to stop share. That's what it is. Okay, here we go. So I'm sitting here talking up a storm. Can you see it now?
Yes, sir.
There we go. Okay. All right, so let me start this over here then. All right, so we got, just a basic, we're going to go through a little progression of sets right here. This is what we call set 1-2, and it's just what it says. They're going to come to balance and posture. Okay, boom. He's waving them. Now he's going set wave. So they went set 1-2, and now they're just waving off of them. If you look at the guy on the right, that's Caleb Harris. He's going to UL Lafayette as a preferred walk-on. A little too busy with his upper body. We talk about having a quiet upper body, big chest. He's leaning a little bit. This is the first time that they've worked with Coach Martin. Coach Martin came out there and did these drills for us. A little fast hands right there, quieter upper body. Those are things that are going to clean up. This kid's only a sophomore. He's going to be a good one. His name's Dawson LeBron, going to be a heck of a player. Started at right guard for us as a sophomore last year. Probably going to move him to tackle. Really good player. Set wave. There it is again. Same thing. Try not to lose a base, maintain a base. That mentality of if this one moves 4 inches, this one moves 4 inches. Always putting our mental weight where it needs to be. If we're going right, mental weight's on the left foot. We're pushing off of that foot and catching on that other foot. Okay. Big chest, quiet upper body. And he comes back. Everybody's done mirror dodge. Okay, boom, right here, just working the mirror dodge drill. Just working. The big thing is keeping the base. Working and pushing off, putting the mental weight in the right spot. Here's Caleb doing it. He set the wrong way to start with. Losing his base. See him losing his base right there. And that's why we put that on there. He's losing his base, clicking his heels together. That he's in danger of getting double moved right there. Med ball sets. Okay, boom, right there. And if you notice some things about the med ball sets right here, we do not coil the ball up. Okay, so we do not punch from our chest. Everything we do is about punch timing. So you see him pick a punch. Okay, he's not pulling that into his chest and not coiling his elbows up and loading his elbows. He's punching that right there for punch timing. Okay, and we'll go off this progression, but it's a 1-2. It's a med ball set. So boom, 1-2. Boom, 1-2. Right there. And good part of the progression there. Same thing here. You get to watch Coach Martin do it now. He doesn't know I filmed him right there, so you get to watch him. He's quicker than all of them. He's getting him going right there. He's holding Caleb's foot so he don't false step, so he can get that weight press. Med ball set, redirect, punch, redirect. So we're just working movements. Boom, boom, right there. And really doing a good job of not loading the ball, you know, punching from the proper spot, what I used to call the sweet spot. I'm not 100% sure what Coach Martin calls it, but I call it the sweet spot, and it's all about punch timing. We can't coil that thing up because we can't let them get into our body. Another thing that we stress, if you look at Dawson's head right here, okay, what's he doing with his head and shoulders? He's getting his head and shoulders out of the punch. Okay, we don't want to ever lean into that punch. So his head and shoulders are coming out of that punch. We don't want D lineman to be able to get to us, head slap us, control our shoulders, get into our shoulders. So we want to get that head and shoulders out of that punch. And that's what he's doing. See his head and shoulders come out of the punch right there. Punch, head out. That's a big thing right there. Again, Dawson, only a sophomore, man. Only a sophomore. You know, we work really hard at this stuff. Okay, now we're going to throw the ball at him. We're going to punch. Okay. So now they're working punch timing. Okay. All right. Punch timing. Don't want to punch too soon. We don't want to punch too late. Okay. So they're working good punch timing right here. All right. Probably could do a little better job of getting his head and shoulders out of there. But, you know, and we talk about having 2 feet in the ground. If you notice the feet, we try to get cleats in the ground. We talk about power out of the ground creates, you know, power out of the ground creates power upwards. You know, so force out, force in equals force out. You know, doing a good job of keeping a base. We clean our cleats. You know, we use that same term with the quarterbacks. There's not a whole lot of air underneath them feet. Boom, get them up and down because a table can't stand on one leg. We never want to be in a position where we're making contact on one foot. We always want to try to get 2 feet in the ground. So we work the heck out of that. Med ball punch, redirect. So it just goes back off the redirect punch, redirect. You know, just working movements. Post set. Okay, so now you've got right here, let's get into some specific sets. So you've got a post set now. All right. So you've got a 2-eye inside of you and you have to set it. All right. So we have to cover him up. We talk about owning our space. We don't want to drop our post foot, which if you see right here, he's a little balanced. He probably needs to keep that foot a little more vertical right there, not drop that post foot. But we want to cover him up and we want to get to his inside half. Okay, so we want to cover him up right there and get to his inside half. Why? Because the launch point for the quarterback's at about 7 yards. He's working as if he's a right guard right now. That launch point for that quarterback on that 6-man protection is about 6.5, 7 yards behind the where the ball was snapped from, and he's got to keep his body in between. We have a saying for it. I can't say the saying over film, but he's got to keep his body in between that defender and the quarterback. There's the defender, there's him, and there's the quarterback, and there has to be an alignment of their bodies in between those 3 guys. And so we have to own that space right there. He could probably do a little bit better job of posting inside, making sure that post foot maintains that high leg stagger. I feel like he's a little balanced right here. He needs to maintain that inside leg stagger right there. He's losing his stagger. Okay, a little too balanced again. We don't want to ever open that gate up. Okay, a little balanced. But they're working with Coach Martin for the first time. So some things and the way he says things, not that we did wrong things last year. I thought Coach Kirby did a great job with those guys last year. It's just when you're learning somebody else's way of saying things, it does become a little different. So, you know, he's not keeping his high leg stagger right there. He's losing his stagger. Flat set. Now you've got a tight defender to the outside of you. Okay. Still want to maintain that high leg stagger. All right. Still covering him up in the same spot. Punch timing. Okay. Head and shoulders out of the punch. Nothing's changed. Okay. Not a lot of air under the feet. just making sure that he's flat setting. I used to call it a shoe set. Coach Martin calls it a flat set. I call it a shoe set because he's setting them. He's basically in his set already. Doesn't really have to go anywhere. We talk about zero stepping. I mean, just pick that foot up and put it back down if you have to. If the guy's in your set, you really don't have to cover a lot of ground. A lot of times people teach guys to move for nothing. Right? He don't need to move. He's got a tight 3 on him. Okay, he's in his set. He's already in his set. So zero step that foot up, cover him up. Good aiming point on the inside. Okay. Now we've got kick sink. Okay. So now we've got what? Maybe he's setting a 4-eye. Maybe it's that odd 2-spot look. Okay. And that 4 eyes out there wider on that tackle. And that tackle's got to set that outside backer outside of him on that 2-spot. So now he's got to kick sink a little bit more. It's a little bit more of a 45-degree angle. We don't want the hips. We kind of want to disassociate the hips and the shoulders a little bit. We want to stay as square as possible with the hips and only, very lightly turn a little bit, but he's kicking and sinking. And that's what we call it, kick sink. Kick sink. Still maintaining that relationship with who? The launch point of the quarterback. Okay? He's got to maintain that relationship between him and the defender and the quarterback. So this is kick sink. Okay, now you're working it. Caleb's the tackle, so he's got a wide guy. A little too loud with his upper body. He needs to quiet down a little bit, tighten his elbows a little bit. He's got to get out there. Okay, he's got to push off that left foot. He's got to put that mental weight on that left foot, and that's why Coach Martin is putting in, because he was kind of rolling over his right foot yesterday. So he wasn't really loading that mental weight up where it needed to be. He was kind of rolling over that right foot and off balance when he was getting to his spot. So, that's some of the things that we do in pass protection. Obviously, we have, one-on-one pass pro, pass rush. We have some other pass pro drills. We do 5-on-5 pass pro, pass rush. We do all of those things. But that's kind of what we do with those guys and where we start off with them. Everything's about keeping a base. Everything's about keeping your feet in the ground, maintaining that relationship between the defender and the quarterback. Understanding where the quarterback's launch point is huge. We have to make those guys understand where the quarterback's launching might be. If you're teaching pass protection and the guys up front have no idea where the quarterback's launching the ball from, then you're putting them in a bad spot, because a lot of pass protection is just maintaining that relationship with the defender and the quarterback. What is your relationship to those guys in individual sets? So we always try to talk about launch points and where the quarterback's launch point is. So that's kind of some basic stuff we do there with that. All right, I'm going to get into a little bit of these looks now. We're going to do some of this 4-down stuff first. So I'm going to go 4 down. I picked a few here. All right, so this is 4 down right here. Okay, so they're lining up. This was at TJC. We're in 3-by-1. Okay, so let's talk about why we ID where we do. Okay, this is a cap. Can everybody see that right there? Okay, so we have a defender. This is your 3 linebacker deal. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Obviously, this is not a backer. Obviously, this is not a backer corner. So we're 1, 2, 3. Okay, Sam, Mike, Will. Now, by rule, because we think the Sam's not a threat, we should turn this to the Will. Okay, which is what he does. Once he turns this to the Will, where does the running back's eyes have to go? Right there. Okay. Well, the running back didn't get, and this is an example of a bad one, that he turned it to the Will. So watch what happens. They turn to the Will. Okay, so this is 4. This would be a ray tight. Okay, so this would be a ray tight right here. Okay. And the running back gets out, and there comes the Mike. He missed one. I put bad examples on here too. But the quarterback, when he comes up, or the center, that's not a threat. So I'm going to turn this thing here, which is what we did. We turned there. That belongs to the running back to anything off the sky now. Why did we do that? Why not just come here from the get-go? Why not just turn it there? Why not then? Well, then you could get the possibility of, if this guy was tighter, of that, and that dude dropping into coverage, so you just screwed your back, and your back scan has to go from there to there now. So we teach our guy, he's not a threat. So turn it back here. Turn it back here. Now running back, we turned it here, okay? Where's your eyes go? Boom, boom. Well, he did a bad job right here. So we got hit in the mouth because the running back didn't catch that we turned it. And now we're, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're 4 for these 4. We're big there. The running back should be here to here. So that's 4. That's a 4 down. That's a single. What we call a single. And he's in the box, so he's tight. Now, you're going to ask me, one of the questions we get asked, if this guy's a shade. So say this is a shade, and I've played with this idea for years. If that guy's a shade, do we technically bring this guy as part of the slide and make it a 4-man sort? You know what I'm saying? Do we bring this guy? Because we're really going 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 for 4. Okay. We don't do that in evens. We teach this center, if he's got a shade on him, he's got to be heavy, heavy, heavy with his drag hand. That's the hand back to the play side. He's got to hold space for that guy. This guy's got to set hard inside. He's got a post set down in there big time. And the triangle is still 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 right there. And this tackle is obviously big on big. He's a 2-eye. He's got to be setting hard inside. Okay, right here. Let's see, I'll skip that one. Same thing. Okay, so here's an example here. All right, there's your 3 linebacker core right there. Okay, we're in 61 protection. The back is here. He deemed that because that guy is outside of 2, he is definitely no threat to blitz. So what we did here is the quarterback trumped it back to this guy in this case. So now you're going to have a ray tight, which we allow him to do that. If he's 100% sure that this guy can't come, we can put it there and then single the back here. Okay. So he did that right there. He claimed the mic on this one. So these 3 guys are going to sort these 3. There's 1, there's 2. Running back's got that to anything off the sky. We know this guy's not coming from out there. Why? He's outside of who? He's outside the number 3 receiver. He's not coming. So we're not going to put this thing there. By base rule, if we were going fast, that's where they'd start. You get what I'm saying? Because that's the Sam. But, they're not going to take that guy right there. So we didn't turn it all the way back because against these guys, we pretty much decided they didn't bring a lot of edge pressure. So we kept it in the box that week. It was kind of a game plan type deal and put the back there. Okay, so that's what they did there. So now you've got a ray tight because he ID'd in the box. Let's look at it from behind. Okay, right there. There's 2. There's 1. There's your triangle right there. Those 3 have those 3. Running back's got this one right there. Okay, and that's kind of how we do that. In that situation, we game plan to put that guy in the box right there. We claimed the mic that week in those situations. We did it for a reason because they really showed no pressure from that removed guy, none. So we didn't bother with it. We didn't fool with it. We went back to old school. Okay, you 3 have the backer to the short side. You 2 have the 2 bigs, and you have the backer to the man side. And that's basically what that is.
Coach.
That was an example of that right there. The call, if you look up in the top, the ID is a single. We have all this up here in the top corner. The sort call is rate tight because these 3, 1, 2, 3 are sorting these 3 right here by how they come. Right there.
Coach, if you got late movement and a possible spin of the coverage after a call's already made, is there a Mayday type call that you're going to reset it, or how do we handle that?
Okay, good question. The back, and there's a couple of examples of that on here in a minute. The back is always a scan player. So we teach him to train his eyes. Once the O-line claims this, let's go back to the wide. So once the O-line claims this guy, we claimed him. Okay, instead of claiming here, they claimed him. So there's their 4 and 5. If for some reason this guy fired off the edge, you get a late spin, or you get that guy inserting there, he's either the free guy if this guy comes, or the back comes underneath and scans it late. We do not ask the O-line if they don't know if it's coming to try to, I mean, they're offensive linemen, you know, to try to mayday out. They see it. If the quarterback sees it, oh yeah, he'll just flip the protection back the other way. You know, we have a few calls for that, you know, but he'll just flip it back there. He'll re-ID. It's an easy deal. And really what the re-ID is if he thinks that guy's coming before and he's got time to make that call, if that guy's wearing 37, he's literally going to point out there and say, Mike 37, Mike 37. He just told the O-line, that's your dude now. So if he sees it, yes. If not, the back's got to clean it up with a cross scan. Okay. That's a great question. And it does happen. And it happens a lot. Right here. Okay. Here's a 4 down, but they walk the backer up to the edge, and the O-line, you can see the right guard right here. He decides he's going to make an islands call. And he tells the center, islands, 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 and they island it out. And they go five out right there. Pick it up. And we knew by game plan that every time they did this, it was almost 100%. When they walked down, this is Cisco, that they were going to bring 5, and they were going to bring them like that. So, you know, good job by the right guard right here. His set's a little crappy, but, you know, at least he pointed that out and saw it. And boom, we go 5 for 5. Backers vacate, and for some reason, combos, they're trying to match the back from the other side and match the tight end right there, which opens the slant up to the backside. So good call by those guys, you know, picking that up. They went 5 for 5. Got jacked the back up. We're actually in scat protection right here. We're in 5-man protection. He jacks the back up on the way out. That's a big running back too. That's a 235-pound running back getting laid on his butt. I got on his butt about that. I said, you weren't awake for that, were you? There's an islands call. Give a couple of, okay. You know, we went Ray tight here. He deemed, you know, they claimed the box. So right here, they're sorting here. He claimed that belongs to the running back. He felt like by the alignment, this is the 4 down, that this guy can't come because we started off in bunch trips. The guy didn't move. They didn't adjust. So he felt by that, boom, he claimed it, and we're fine there. Nobody ended up coming. You'll get a lot of pressures out of our defense here in a minute. You'll see several of those. Let's see here. Okay, so now here we are at Sulphur this year, 7-on-7. All right. So that, you know, our defense is a 4-down defense. So this is a single. And right here, we have a mugging backer. We got 3 for 3 over here. So he doesn't deem this a threat, this a threat, or this a threat, mainly because of what? Where's the free safety?
On the hash.
Back on the hash over there. So knowing our defense, Jacob got really good at this. You know, the threats are now 1, 2, 3. Okay. Possible corner fire. So this is his backer count, actually. In his mind, even though that's not a backer, that's a corner. That's his backer count. Okay. Sam, Mike, Will. Okay. So he goes right here and he says, well, this ain't coming, this ain't coming, this ain't coming. Safety's back in the middle of the field. I'm going to go here. We're in 61, so I'm going to just stay with the right call. So they would Ray tight this to this guy mugging up. Now the back is here to here. Well, why? Why does that make sense? Because one of these dudes, unless they're just going to give something up, which they could, and they can always get you, probably has this back in man coverage should he free release. So we know the back is not going to have to duel both of these guys. Somebody between these two dudes has to, you know, when you got a tight end here too. Well, we actually bring the corner here. Back picks it up, and they try to defend. You know, good thing we weren't running some sort of speed out from the tight end right there. You know, they're comboing off of that. They're trying to rat with that other backer, and we pick up that guy. The O-line would obviously have this guy, but we work it in 7-on-7. We work it in 7-on-7. Another 7-on-7 situation. Okay, boom. Nobody comes. I'll skip that one. I don't even know why I put that one in there. Okay, so now here's a 7-on-7. That drone's awesome, by the way. Here's a 7-on-7 situation where one of the things that our defense gives us is they'll try to play guys from depth in the hope that they get to you. Okay. And it's some things that, something we do, knowing that at the high school level, pressure, kind of the pressure bust pipes type mentality. So you've got a 3-for-3 look right here, but this guy's a little bit lower than he normally is. Not low enough for him to put him in the count. Okay, obviously this guy is not, we're not going to get a corner fire out of this because of where the safety is. Safety's too tight. So he claimed the box. All right, where's your two possible blitzers? Right there. He claimed the box. So we're in 60 protection. He puts the offensive line here, so it's a Lou tight. So they'd be 3 sorting these triangle, 2 bigs right here. Now the running back is here. But what is the running back's last rule of his protection? He always has number 4 from the sky. We train their eyes, and we try to train them well. Watch what happens here. He did a great job here. There comes 4. He goes and gets it. Running back, the O-line has this one. He takes 4, and that's the scanning deal. There's an example, kind of what you were talking about a second ago, Coach Martin, that late coming down. He's got 4. He's got the 4th defender. And we hammer them on where their eyes are. What are they looking at? Tell me who the O-line claimed. Okay, the O-line claimed this guy. Well, you're there, but you got 4 off the sky in 6-man protection. Don't be in a hurry. Get some more air on that ball right there. Got on the quarterback's ass. All right, so here we're in blitz pickup now. All right, so we're in blitz pickup. So now it's us versus our defense, full speed, their stuff, our stuff. Okay, we got a single. 4 down. Okay, we're in a 3rd and 4 situation, and our quarterback. And you're going, wow, how did he do that? Well, he did. He's also going to go make a lot of money one day doing stuff with computers. All right, so that helps. All right, so he claimed this guy right there, and we dragged this. This is kind of an example of a dual drag. It ain't great. This is early in practice. Caleb Harris is kicking for too much depth. You get what I'm saying? Very soft right there on the edge. But he claimed him, and he put the running back dual to dual right here. So he claimed him. We dual dragged it out. Boom. And I felt like we triggered this ball a little fast. And I got on him afterwards. I was like, you claimed that guy. And then you kind of threw it hot almost. And we didn't do a good job of running the route right here. We needed to get inside leverage and kind of push it back up and create our separation and snap it in there late. So we don't help him there with that throw. But he claimed him. We took it. We got bodies on bodies, and we're in good shape. And we spend a lot of time, and we don't have a ton of pass protection. That's the thing. This is what we do, and we do it all the time. And so, and I think if you're going to be a spread team, you don't need a ton of pass protection. When I came into this, and we were a hybrid spread team, and we were doing some stuff way back in the day when people were still jumping in the eye most of the time and stuff, I had too many pass protection. I had way too many pass protection, and there was too many rules to it. We do this all the time, and this is what we do. So it's a good job of claiming that guy and taking it right there. I'll go a couple more singles, and then we'll go to some odd stuff real quick. Okay, so right here, single, okay, Ray. All right, and it's Ray because, and it's really Ray tight because the guy's right there on the edge, but it's Ray because we're going to ID here. So we're 1, 2, 3 for 3 right here. And then we're big, so there's 2, there's 1. That's the man side, okay? We're in a hot situation right here because we're running 50 protection. So this goes back to why we let the quarterbacks trump sometimes, okay? He can do a better job of getting us out of here. He knows that I've got double slants back here, okay? We're in hot protection. So do I want to let this guy come free, or do I want to let this guy come free? One of these 2 dudes is coming free because I'm only protecting with 5. He knows I got a slant route breaking in here. We talk about replace the blitzer all the time, especially with built-in slants and built-in hots. If the blitzer's coming, replace him. Replace him with a football. Boom, replace him. Right there. I've got to make a catch, but replace him. Third and 4 situation, double edge pressure. We took the side away from where he deemed his hot was. And the guy pulls up because we tell him at the balls. He could have patted it down. You know, we got to do a better job of negotiating that and making sure we find a lane. It's practice, but he replaces the blitzer. And I mean, this is a weekend of practice, you know, no spring ball. So we're doing pretty well right here with this. We got the right guys on the right guys. Once again, a little soft, you know, 68's kicking too much. You see what I'm talking about? The right tackle right there. Own your space, man. You don't go somewhere just to go somewhere. Okay. The more you know, give up depth right there, the better chance you've got of some sort of double move off that guy. It's just too soft. He needs to, you know, kick step right there, kick set, and own his space. You know, that guy will come, engage him. Don't go anywhere. Don't be so busy dropping too much space right there. Talk about some technique stuff. Okay, one more practice. You go to a couple more. Okay, back at TJC. Okay, now, once again, okay, we're playing Navarro here, and we're in 60 protection. Okay, that guy's probably not coming. That guy's probably not coming. So you really don't have a cap. I mean, you got a cap, but he's outside of 2. I mean, he's outside of 3. So that kind of becomes your deal there. Well, by the position of this safety, this guy's probably got the tight end, man coverage zone, or, you know, if they're playing halves over there, if they're clouding it up or whatever. So simply the quarterback simply turns it to this guy right here. We make a loop call. He's outside the box. These 3 are going to sort there. The running back's now there to there. We always try to put them on the dangerous guys. And we missed a wide open guy coming on the cross right there. One more here. Go wide. Same scenario. Okay, doesn't feel, you know, there's your 3 right there. Okay, this is going to end up being the man side. He doesn't feel that that's a threat. Safety's in the middle of the field. Definitely probably can't get pressure here. You got a little 8-man front look. He's already sliced down on the backside. And, you know, you could get pressure there, but not a big deal. So he claims the mic, that guy right there, puts the running back there. 1, 2, 3-man. There's their triangle right there. We're off and running. When you get into this odd stuff is when you start seeing a lot of pressure. Y'all remember, I got to show y'all this. I put this on here. This ain't even really because of the protection, but I put it on. Y'all remember Boise State catching the dig back in the day and lateraling it to the guy underneath?
Yep.
We have that. We didn't really execute it great, but we did get the pitch off right here. Boom. Now, if that guy would have come flatter, we were bringing this guy. He does a crappy job. It's not something we practice a lot. He's supposed to get in pitch relationship with him, becomes an option play. We get the pitch. He turns up. I just thought, you know, the head coach was like, hell, we halfway executed Boise right there. You know, kids had fun with it. It was late in the game. We were down by 3 or 4. It was like 42-39 or something like that. This was a track meet. We called that. But anyway, let's go a little odd right here. Catch a couple of odds and a couple of islands. Let me get that 4 down stuff off. And we'll go. All right. So start with this bear sink look right here. Everybody still see the screen? Yeah, this is our scrimmage last year against Westlake. Our running back does a bad job right here, but here is a bear look. So this is an islands deal. We're going islands here. The spot is islands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 5. The running back now has what? The 6th most dangerous, which from this look and where that safety is, that's pretty easy to figure out. He ain't coming. He ain't coming. He ain't coming. Who's the 6th most dangerous rusher? Right there. So he's got him. Now, doesn't go attack him. So he's late getting to him right there, but he's got him. He traces him, and we talk about tracing those guys. Tracing. Okay, boom. If he comes, nose goes away, you got to go get him now. Can't be soft right there. And I think, if we get up there and we get this protection, this ball gets down a little bit, we got a chance to score on this concept we call swipe right here, which we don't do a great job of running it. This was, early on too, but get behind them, boom, yeah. But I think, the backer is in a quarterback's lap and he just doesn't get a clean throw off. That's why we've got to be good at that right there. See him, go get him. A little indecision. And it's new to him at this point. So, but he's got the sixth guy. There's the sixth rusher. They bring six. You got to block the sixth one and make an islands call. So that's a bear islands. Okay, so here I'm gonna go to some of this TJC stuff first because it's easier. It's a little more defined. We got south side. Well, we'll give Mouton a little love here real quick. So we've got odd right here, and we go two-spot box. Okay, so we have two things we do with two-spot. We either two-spot box or we two-spot out. Okay, so here's the look. We're odd. Okay, there now is your four linebacker triangle, or your four linebacker, whatever you want to call it. You can call it a triangle or whatever. That's your four linebacker look. Why does it become four linebackers instead of three? Because they're three down now. Okay, so that's your four guys on the threat right there. Well, once again, where is the first part? Where is the Will linebacker in the protection? We're in 61, so that's Will, that's Mike, that's Jack, that's Sam in the protection scheme. Now, in the real world, that's Sam. You know what I'm saying? That's Jack, that's Mike, that's Sam, Will. But in our protection thought process right here, that's the Will. So that's where the first thing would start off at. Well, he ain't coming. So we two-spot the box. So now basically these five dudes have these five dudes and the running back is simply there. If that comes late, you'll clean it. So we two-spot the box right there. Now, what we should be two-spotting the box. They kind of screwed this one up, but they picked it up. We got away with one. It should be two-spotting the box there. I guess he felt like that guy was coming. Okay. Two-spot the box again. Guy walks down in mugs. Pretty simple. We're going to take that. We don't think this guy out here is coming. So there's your backers. 1, 2, mug 3, 4. Okay, we two-spot the box. The running back's got this one. Cleans that late if it comes. Pick all that trash up. Here it is from behind. You spot the box. Got mugs. Now, one of the things that makes it a little different for us in Louisiana, we have a call, we call it squeeze. If for some reason, and I'm just going to talk about this real quick, if that backer that's out here was right here and we two-spotted out instead of two-spotting the box, that technically would belong to who? The running back. Once that guy walks, because they're going to take this lineman and they're going to 1, 2, 3, 4 for 1, 2, 3. You know what I'm saying? 1, 2, 3, and this backer that's sitting out here that came into this situation, if they two-spotted out, that belongs to the running back. In Louisiana, in Texas, and in college, obviously you can go up and cut that dude. That guy can go cut him, boom, he's down, no big deal. Over here, yeah, not so much. So sometimes when we get in these situations in Louisiana, we'll squeeze this off and put him on the outside most guy. That's just a call that we have. It's something I don't like to do. We don't do it, but if, because to me, that's a backer, that's an end, but it is something that we can do. But right here, they two-spot box. So they're setting those guys. They pass off the little twist. Running back should do a better job of getting out of there. His guy's not there. He needs to be out. We've got a curl concept on. He needs to be swinging right here. But we always tell him, err on the side of caution if you're in six-man protection. Okay, here's a 2-spot right. Okay, so we're 2-spot out right here is what it is, but we put R in the thing, so he's going to 2-spot right. All right, now why is it 2-spot right? Because this is actually odd what? Odd stack. Right. We deem this as odd stack right here because we've got a stack there. So from the box look right here, it's Sam, or excuse me, in the protection scheme, it's Will, Mike, Jack, Sam. He's not coming. But you got a lot of stuff that can happen with these 3 guys right here. So we make a 2-spot right call, even if he's in the box versus odd stack, and we put 1, 2, 3, 4 on 1, 2, 3, 4. Running back's got that one. Tackle is big on that one right there. So it's a 2-spot right. Young sophomore guard getting bulled right here. That's LeBron. That's the one that was in the drills a while ago. It's like our second ball game, and he's getting bulled right here. Bat needs to set an anchor and drop down and handle that bull rush. And our tackle, Caleb, once, you know, if we look at this from behind right here, go to the end zone picture. You look at it from behind, and I can't really see from behind because I've got y'all's faces in front of me. There we go. All right, he's got a tight defender on him. I mean, the guy's a 4, almost a 4-eye. Okay, the backer that he's setting is sitting right out here in that situation. So he should set this guy with a drag hand, knowing that that guy's probably going inside from the alignment. And then once that backer drops, he should go look for work. He should not leave this guy sitting on an island at that point. That's one of the things that we've got to get cleaned up this year. He should go look for work. His responsibility's out of there. So at the point that this end goes inside, now he's trying to give a drag hand. It's not a very good drag hand. You know, I think he's getting a little too wide. That backer's not an immediate threat to come. So he's kind of pick his foot up, put it back down there on his space. And then, you know, once his backer drops, go back in there. And he's trying to, but he's late. You see, and he's late and he's soft. Go back in there and own your space right there. Go back in there and look for work. And then Dawson's he's on skates. You know what I'm saying? Got to foot in the ground. He's on skates bad. Just a bad set. 15-year-old kid. I don't know what grade that big D ends in, you know, just going right over the top of him right there. So just a bad set.
And Coach, if that 4-tech loops outside, the tackle's going to go ahead and take them, and the guard's going to the outside back.
Yes, sir. They're sorting those guys by how they come. It's like putting flour through a sifter. They're going to sift those guys out by how they come. Okay. Islands call right here. I'm going to hit about 5 or 6 more of these, and we'll call it a day. Islands call right here. Okay. They deemed it islands. It probably original ID, and I asked Jacob if he trumped this or where they ID'd at right there. Probably original ID was 2-spot box, because these guys, I think the film kind of cuts up. I think they started off back, but once they walked up, which 2-spot box puts these guards on them anyway, center just made an islands call, 5 for 5. Where's the 6th most dangerous rusher at? He's right there. He belongs to who? The running back. Now, in this case right here, if we'd been in 51, we'd throw hot off that guy. If they take it as an islands, and this is why you got to get your back out when you can, okay? They didn't match the back right here. They're trying to play rat with that guy, right there in the middle. And, you know, we need to turn our eyes right here with that rat right there and swing that ball to that back. Because once we've decided that we're going to this side of the ball, and this is getting into a little bit of route scheme stuff, it's a 2-man game. It's a 2-man game. Because that back's going to walk into the end zone. We check that ball down to him right there. And that's why it's important. And you get a quarterback to throw a check down. Like, I'll do cartwheels when a quarterback throws a check down. They think I'm crazy. You know, like, hey, he threw a check down. Coach, it's just a swing route. I mean, but he threw it. You know, so it's a crazy situation. All right, this is a weird one. This is what we call a 2-spot fan. Because, and then I'll get you a couple of bear sinks to close it out with. Because it's 2-spot, It's odd, but the other backer, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, is also outside the box. So it's technically a box. All he's done is gone from here to here, but we just alert a little two-man deal right here. Hey, us two got those two. He's outside. I may have to set a little bit wider if he walks up or whatever. It's just two-spot fan, the two-spot box call with him out. Running back's there. Okay, he's sitting there. He's sitting there. He's sitting there to there. Running back could be a little more thick right here. And we're soft. And that's one of the things, you know, we're going to be a little more solid with our protections. We're kicking, you know, up there at the top of the screen, we're kicking for nothing. You know, we need to settle our feet at some point and engage the guy. We don't need to invite him into the launch point. Same thing with a running back. Okay, he's coming, go attack him. Go get your pad level low, go attack him. All right. Change to a couple of these. All right, odd sync. All right, this was some weird stuff here. We played North Vermilion, and I thought they did a good job of giving us some unusual looks. So this is an odd sync look. So they went odd, but the tackle, if you look down here to the bottom of the screen, is uncovered. They've got a 3-tech. They eagled the 3-tech right there. And the next threat is this backer sitting on the roof. So what we did is we just ringoed it. Let's go to the end zone shot of it. It's a little easier to teach off of, and I'm just going to show a couple of these. There's your look. So you got a shade. They're really getting to an even front is all they're doing with the defensive end removed. But I'm not going to sit here with this tackle and hold space or block air on a guy that's probably going to drop into coverage. I'm wasting it when I can take these 5 and block this 5-man triangle right here with these 5 and put this running back on this backer that's sitting back there. It's an even front. In the grand scheme of things, that's all it is. Right. We treated it as odd for pass protection purposes so that we could ringo this out. And that's what we did. We just squeezed it down, ringoed that right there. The running back, boom. See the tackle come back late. They try to wrap because that's part of the sort. 27 belongs to the O-line. So you see him loop. I think the tackle could have held a little better space once again. Soft, but he loops for that guy, and he's got him. Work it back, boom. And it's like I said, we're trying to put the 5 guys on the 5 most dangerous rushers. I'll go to 2 more of these. You got this, same thing, odd look. Gonna ID over there to the running back. They've got a 3-tech to the running back side, to the man side of the protection. So we ringoed it again. We ringoed off of that. Did a good job of picking it up. Got it from behind. There it is, 3-tech right there. It's an even front. I mean, all this is over. He was down here, he's the defensive end. 3-tech, shade, 5. Backer. We treated it as odd, and we just took these 5 for these 5 and put the running back right there. Now, the running back is Jackson Cerise. This is the first game he played in. The first year he's played football. He's a junior. We were kind of banged up. We got him in the ball game, so he's just looking for people. Which, like I said, 6-man protection, we tell those guys, you know, we chip sometimes on the way out. We do things to help out. You know, I'm never going to get on a kid when being cautious in protection. But he's got that backer. That's his right there with this odd sink front. That kid caught about 200 and something yards worth of passes that night. They did not have a safety back there. Last one. Let's go with luck. Yeah. Okay, so we'll go to this one right here. Here's the lucky. This is the same thing. So we lucky this. So you've got the 3 tech here now. There's the backer that's up, 3, shade 5. We took 5 to the left. We luckied this out, 5 for 5 there. Once again, Jackson Cerise just looking for work. It's not really his. We're too wadded up down here at the bottom. But we always caution on the side of error with the running backs and 6-man protections. So he's looking for work. Don't fault him for it. But if you look at it from behind, all of these guys right here belong the O-line, and that's the running backs right there. Center's moving the wrong way. This is where we get in trouble. He knows he's got to go from the other side right there, and we should be all sliding to the left and sorting to the left right here. Back kind of cleans it up. It's going to happen. And because the back, does a good job of cleaning it up, and the blitz is not extremely fast getting there, we throw a touchdown pass because of it.
Coach, were they in front of film?
I'm trying to go back and look on film. I think they were a 4-2-5 defense, and then they gave us this look coming out there trying to throw us a curveball. And so it took us about a series to realize what was going on. We got on the sideline. I said, just Ringo lucky that crap. I mean, it's not, let's not make it more than it is. And a couple of times we said it wrong. We're setting wrong right here, but most of the time we handled it well. And, if I'm thinking back to this film now, it seems like a million years ago, I think they were an even front football team.
That's kind of what it looks like.
That's all it is. It's an over-under defense. I mean, that's really all it is. And so, but we get it cleaned up and touchdown pass. So anyway, that's kind of what we do. It may seem like a lot, and we do it. We live in this. We major in this, and so because we major in this, we get good at it. You're going to have mistakes happen. You're going to get caught sometimes, but you can't have a million pass protections. Our 5-man, our 6-man, and even our 7-man, which I didn't show any examples of the 7-man on there, they all build off the same process of 4 down, Mike, 3 down, 2 spot. They all build off of that. They really do. So that's what we do. And if you're going to throw the football, you've got to have answers.
No doubt. Coach, I love how simple it is. I mean, and I learned, early on and as a young coach, you go to all these clinics and all this stuff. So you come back and you have all this new stuff and you want to do it. And then you realize, after a few years that it's not really what and what you can retain, but, can you present it to your players and how much can they retain to where they can actually be successful where they're not thinking. And this is kind of along those lines right there.
Yeah. And I'm not going to lie to you. I've probably made it more complicated in the past than I have. And, I sit down and I study this. Sam Pittman, the head coach at Arkansas, some of this, the way we pared this down comes from some things of his. I've got really good O-line guys on staff, Mason Martin, Andy Dodd, Adam Kirby was here last year. They're really good guys. And so we just try to make this as simple as possible. And sometimes they probably think I'm not listening to them, but I am. And we pare this down and make it simpler because the kids, if they can play fast, it's better for them. And you got to major in this. And you see it has answers. It has answers without having to do a whole lot of stuff, without a whole lot of things going on. It has answers.
No doubt. Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on and sharing your knowledge of the game. Coaches, thank you for joining us. And if you're catching it on a later date, make sure you're subscribing. You can catch this clinic and all of our past clinics of Speed Kills Football on our YouTube channel. You can also catch our podcast on Spotify and Apple Music. We have some really good podcasts coming up. The next couple of weeks, we have former pro wideout, now Southern University, wide receiver coach Vincent Marshall, former Dallas Cowboys quarterback Quincy Carter, also Texas A&M and Dallas Cowboy great, former coach and now successful business owner Dat Nguyen will be coming on, I believe, on the 23rd of this month. So we got some really cool podcasts coming up. Also, Coach Shane Savoy will be talking quarterback mechanics later on in the month. So just stay tuned. We have a lot of things that we're trying to lock down right now, just trying to make dates work and times work for coaches. I know John Cat and North Shore, we've been in contact. We're trying to make something work, get down. I don't know if you've ever seen him talk at a clinic, but he's got some really good stuff. And he's been very successful. But, just keep checking the Facebook and Twitter, and you'll be able to see all the upcoming clinics and podcasts. And Coach, again, man, I appreciate it. And as always, I enjoyed it.
Thanks a lot, Neil. I appreciate you having me back on, and y'all take care, and hope everybody has a great season this year. Let's get some normalcy in life.
We can only hope, huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Anyway,
right,
thanks
Coach.
again.
Yes, sir. You have a good one.
You too.